What's up everyone, it's Scotty with Money Investing. So lots of requests for a company video on both NIO and Palantir, a stock analysis and an updated video on these two companies. So that's exactly what we are going to discuss. In this video, I'll break down NIO and Palantir's technical analysis, talk a little bit about the companies as well, what my plans are with these two positions, because I do have them both very, very small positions. I think NIO is like less than 1%. Palantir is, I think, less than 3% of the portfolio. So very, very small allocations for these companies, but of course, there's going to be potential to add more if they show some promise. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, find it helpful. If you do, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. The link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. Don't forget, there is a 16% annual discount that does expire at the end of this month, and we do have a brand new options course that you can also take advantage of, and the coupon code is going to be launch, and that gives you 50% off if you are taking advantage of that. It also does go away, so it's not going to be discounted forever. So after a few days, it is going to go away, so you can access that as well. And of course, the entire bundle, which is fundamental analysis, technical analysis, options course, everything, all three courses are going to be 50% off right now at the moment, so you can take advantage of that as well. Link is going to be down below. So this right here was one of the reasons why NIO was up a lot today. So if you come over here, NIO up almost 11% on the day, trading past $11.73. And we're also seeing a lot of momentum come in, a lot of volume come in, and starting to see a bit of a breakout from this falling wedge, and not to mention from this overall moving average as well, which we are going to discuss, which is actually very, very key for NIO's price action moving forward. But attempting to rejuvenate the lagging economy, the National Development or Reform Commission, NDRC, government agency responsible for economic development in China, stated that it's interested in bringing private capital to assist in the advancement of major projects throughout the nation. So again, it wants to clean energy, green energy. It wants to kind of reignite that growth in that area. And the NDRC identified a variety of sectors in which they hope to spur growth, including transportation and clean energy. And it's unsurprising that news of Chinese government's focus on economic development, specifically in areas that pertain to NIO, is being celebrated by investors today. And the company reported uninspiring second quarter 2023 deliveries of 23,250, a year-over-year decline of more than 6%. So if you come over to some of the Chinese stocks, you'll notice that a lot of them are actually higher. XPeng was up almost 10%. We did have Li Auto up over 3%. We had, let's see here. So a lot of companies, so like Baidu was up 5%, Alibaba 4.5%. So a lot of Chinese companies were green. They were actually outperforming the U.S. markets, the U.S. counterparts on the day. And again, the Chinese government's motivation to spark clean energy and transportation business is undeniably good news for NIO, and investors will certainly want to pay attention to see if NDRC succeeds in developing a project that NIO benefits from. But it's not only in China that investors should watch. NIO recently reported that it's close on equity investment of nearly $740 million from CYVN Investments, an investment group owned by the Abu Dhabi government. While demand for its vehicles in China may have fallen recently, it's possible the electric car company may find growing demand in the Middle East as well. So again, Dubai, Abu Dhabi kind of coming into the mix when it comes to NIO's deliveries. Now, one of the things that I mentioned before in my other video is that NIO has a lot of projects going on, right? They're expanding into all these different countries. They're expanding into all these different models. So they need to focus on profitability. They need to focus on becoming profitable first, and then using that cash flow and earnings to actually invest in other areas of the market where they see the next opportunity. But right now, it seems like they're doing too much, and that's really what's the problem. That's really what's been the problem for NIO for the longest time, unfortunately. So if you go over to the stock price, so obviously it's been selling off quite aggressively since January of 21. It's dropped over 89%. But now we're starting to see a little bit of that momentum back higher from $7. It's rallied over $7 per share. $16 billion is going to be that market cap. But again, year after year, we're generating losses. Quarter after quarter, we're generating losses, unfortunately. And the valuation right now, a little bit over 2.4 times sales, which actually is quite reasonable. I think Tesla might be a little bit higher, and price to book trading at over 6 times price to book at the moment. But they do have negative net debt. So that's actually one of the positives for NIO, is that they do have more cash than debt on the balance sheet. So that's really good. So they do continue to have a pretty good balance sheet from that perspective, but it's really going to come down to when they actually turn profitable. And it's not until 2026 where the expectations are for them to report a EPS of 10 cents per share, but revenue also obviously expected to grow from about 7.1 billion to over 22 billion dollars. So very substantial growth, but again, margins are going to be the real question for NIO. So, I'm not kind of going crazy over these prices. I'm not like aggressively buying at these levels or anything, but because of the lack of confidence that I have in the company, in the company's management, that's why it's such a small position to begin with, because there's always execution risk. One of the things that I mentioned before is the companies can have great stories, they can have great qualitative analysis, they can have fantastic business models, but it doesn't mean, and excuse my language here, but it doesn't mean shit if they can't turn a profit. If they can't make money, none of that matters, okay? You can have the best idea in the world, but if you don't execute on that idea, it's just as good as having no idea, right? So having an idea is only part of the problem. The other part, and the more important part, is execution. Being able to generate profit, being able to actually take that idea and turn it into something that actually makes money. Because if it doesn't, it's useless. So next resistance is going to be 1379, 1380. So this right here is going to be that level and that resistance to watch for NIO. We're starting to see a little bit of that nice breakout from that moving averages, from that falling wedge pattern. So we'll go ahead and turn this level into a support at 1058. NIO is kind of like on the back burner for me, just kind of, again, less than 1% allocation, just kind of focusing on, what they're planning to do in the future. And if they can turn the corner towards profitability, fantastic. Maybe I'll size up on my position, but if they don't, it's gonna be a write-off for me personally. Again, it's not substantial in any way, so it's gonna be there that we're gonna constantly monitor. Now, Palantir, on the other hand, is on a different wavelength, and that is to say that they have turned the corner towards profitability. So you can see last couple of quarters profitable, and they are expected to generate EPS starting this year, so 2023. So if you come over here, you'll notice 2023 EPS expected at around 21 cents per share for the company, and revenue also expected to keep growing from 1.9 to over 3 billion. So that's going to be over a 75-80% growth expected for the company. Negative net debt, substantial amount of negative net debt. So, more cash than debt on the balance sheet. The only issues with Palantir for the longest time has been a lot of share dilution, which seems to have been a little bit more stabilized now. So it's been sitting roughly at 2 billion shares over the last 4 to 6 quarters. And the second issue has been profitability, which has already been gone because of the fact that Palantir is now able to turn the corner towards profitability. And there's a lot of excitement around the company and the products and services that it has to offer. So, obviously this year, this coming quarters, we'll continue to monitor. And if Palantir, reports some very strong numbers, some very nice growth on a year-over-year basis, profit margins are expanding, you've got more profitability, then it's possible that I may size up into this position. But of course, my fair value is going to be under $10. So it would need to come down to this area, this support level here, so that I can start to, once again, I already have a position, like I said, but I will be DCing it a little bit more heavily if and when it gets to sub 10. Once again, obviously it's rallied quite a bit, 148, 150% year to date. So very strong moves to the upside, lots of volume driving this price higher as well. So if you do get a breakout past $17, so this right here is going to be that resistance. If you do get a breakout above that level, the next resistance and target is going to be at $29 per share. It's kind of crazy. I'm just trying to think. Palantir at 29. It sounds crazy because for the longest time it's been trading in single digits. So just having to think about Palantir at $29 resistance is just a whole different concept and an idea that doesn't just sound right. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy because we've seen this stock at trade at $4, $5, $8 for the longest time. And now obviously it's back in the double digits at over $16, $17. So the next target and resistance is going to be at $29 if and when we actually get that breakout past $16, $17 per share. So that's going to be the analysis for these two companies. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? What do you think about NIO? What do you think about Palantir? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. Link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. And again, don't forget there's 16% annual discount available on Patreon that does expire at the end of this month. And the options course coupon code LAUNCH also gives you 50% off for the options course as well. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.